Last week, the S&P 500 dropped 3.1%, the Nasdaq slid 3.5%, and the Dow Jones was down 2.4%. U.S. stock prices tumbled amid further U.S. tariffs being implemented, followed by some exemptions, still causing rising fears of an all-out trade war. The S&P 500 recorded its worst week since September. Softer non-farm payrolls figures on Friday sent the dollar lower, but did little to offset the uncertainty of U.S. tariff policy and potential inflation as a result. Crude oil and natural gas prices fell on concerns that tariffs could hurt economic growth and energy demand. Gold and silver prices moved firmly higher as demand for safe haven instruments increased. Palladium and platinum prices rose following the announcement of fresh stimulus from the Chinese government, intended to encourage economic growth and increase demand. This week's focus will be on inflation with U.S. CPI inflation data to be released on Wednesday, and the Producer Price Index, an important inflation indicator, is set to be posted the following day. President Trump announced and swiftly reversed a decision to double U.S. tariffs upon Canadian steel and metal as Canada suspended 25% tariffs upon electricity exports to the U.S. Top U.S. and Ukraine officials met in Saudi Arabia and agreed on a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine. The U.S. and Russia are expected to discuss a ceasefire this week. Gilead's stock price climbed 2.2%, rising to an all-time high on Friday. The pharmaceutical stock price has sharply increased this year after better-than-expected earnings results in early February. Projections for 2025 are much higher than last year, with its HIV drug, Biktarvy, seeing a 16% year-on-year sales boost due to strong demand. The company is also expected to launch a new HIV drug in summer 2025, which has been lauded as a breakthrough in HIV prevention. Moderna's stock price surged 14.4% last week, reaching a 5-week peak on Friday. While Moderna's earnings on February 14th were mixed with worse-than-expected earnings per share due to declining COVID vaccine sales, revenue exceeded forecasts. Several positive developments have recently boosted the stock, including a German court ruling that Pfizer and BioNTech violated Moderna's vaccine patents, which entitles Moderna to compensation. Moderna's CEO and board members bought $6 million worth of shares last week. The pharma company announced progress on bringing 3 mRNA products to market. Crude oil prices dropped 4.3%, with black gold hitting its lowest level since April 2023. Oil prices have been pressured downwards due to expectations that oil sanctions could be relaxed on Russia as part of a possible ceasefire or peace deal with Ukraine. Growing concerns of a trade war, which would likely result in lower economic growth and less oil demand, have also encouraged negative sentiment. Additionally, OPEC confirmed its plan to increase production by 138,000 barrels per day, starting in April. Gold prices rose 1.3%, reaching a 10-day high on Friday. Precious metal prices were underpinned by ongoing fears of a trade war after the U.S. imposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and an additional 10% tariff on all Chinese imports. Although some of the tariffs on Canada were suspended, the uncertainty and seemingly unpredictable trade policies have increased safe haven demand for gold. Softer NFP data on Friday also supported gold, making it more affordable for holders of foreign currencies. Copper prices rose 2.6%, testing a 10-month high on Thursday. Last week, the metal's price was supported by Chinese commitment to an economic growth target of 5%, signaling that further economic stimulus is on the way. China is the world's largest consumer of copper. In recent weeks, Chile, the largest producer of copper, was hit by large power outages, disrupting copper production. The EUR-USD pair surged 4.04% to its highest level since May 2024, as the dollar weakened following disappointing non-farm payrolls data on Friday. The euro also gained momentum as the two main political parties expected to form the next government reached an agreement on key policies. Additionally, European countries agreed to boost defense spending, a major demand of the U.S. administration.